Hi family and friends, I just want to tune in for a few minutes this evening with a word of thought for you to have to just chew on and to think on and ponder. For those that are fostering or adopting, I hope that this is an encouragement to you where you are on the journey with caring for that child the Lord has put into your care. Thank you again for all that you are doing for these kids and how you are sticking with them and not giving up on them. That is what their cry is for you to stick with them. And I know that that can be hard sometimes because there's all kinds of messages that are sent when you're trying to love on them and care for them. There's messages of, I really don't care for your love. I don't care that you're here. And it can become so discouraging, but especially for a mother and a father that has the biggest heart to want to be there to love and care. So thank you for not giving up on them. I just want to take a few moments and tell you about a guy that I have recently learned about through school as well as through conferences I have attended recently. His name is Dan Hughes. He is a clinical psychologist and he focuses a lot on trauma as well as the brain and how that relates with trauma as well as attachment. So one of the things that you see a lot with kids that come into foster care is attachment issues. Their biggest thing a lot of times is trust. And so Dan talks a lot about block trust and block care. So if you have time and you are interested, I highly recommend you to look him up and to look at some of the stuff he has out there. But it is so frustrating for parents that are being there to care for this child that's been traumatized, that's been through abuse. It's really tough for them because they are trying to get to the child that they love them, that they want to be there for them, but yet the child pushes them away, the child tests them and puts up the walls, and then it just becomes this very frustrating thing. And what started as this like great rewarding experience becomes something that is like, I don't know what to do. I'm done. And that's what I want to encourage and just pray for you as a parent that is fostering or adopting, that you would just have that empowerment and that strength to keep going, because that is a challenge we see a lot of times with parents that are fostering and adopting, is that challenge of trying to get to the child that I really do love you and I'm here to stay. So one of the things with block trust is the child doesn't want to trust because they're scared to death that if they do, they're going to be rejected, that they're going to be abused, they're going to be let down. And that is something they have already experienced to the core, and they don't want to get near it. They don't want to get close to it. But yet they long for that loving, secure love. But it's very, very shaky ground for them because they've been traumatized by the very ones that were supposed to stay with them, that were supposed to be there as parental figures. It then strikes this block care into parents that are fostering and adopting. The block care being parents now that are fostering and adopting, they become defensive, they become frustrated. And so the very thing that's trying to be accomplished never really gets to it because you've got the frustrated foster parent and adoptive parent, and then you've got the child that just constantly beats at pushing them away. And so maybe you find yourself in those shoes as a foster parent or as a parent that is adopting, or maybe you know someone that's going through that. I would just highly encourage you to not give up, number one. But number two, I would highly encourage you to seek to parent backwards. These children and these youth, they don't know reasoning. They don't know. So if you sit there and try to reason with them as you would a child that's not been through trauma, it's not going to work, because all they know is fear. All they know is survival. And so you could throw a lot of threats at them, you could throw a lot of things, and they're going to know how to handle that because they've already had to do that. But what they don't know and what they desperately need is they need that validation from you as a parent. And they need to know that you're going to foster love and comfort and joy and excitement, and you're going to foster that attachment. You're going to parent backwards. You're going to go back to as if they were little and a baby, because that's what they need. And it's not an overnight thing. It's by no means an overnight thing, but it is a journey, and it is one step at a time. And so that's what I would highly encourage. I would highly encourage not to take it personal as that foster parent that is going through this, or the adoptive parent, but I would highly encourage you to lean on to support. Read those things out there that are in support of attachment and trauma, because it can help foster your understanding of how to be there and how to support that child to the best that you know how. Again, another great person to look up, his name is Dan Hughes, and he's a clinical psychologist, and he has a lot of good stuff out there that I highly recommend you to look at. Again, thank you to all that are fostering and adopting or supporting them. It is such a blessing to have that. It is such a need. Thank you, family and friends. Have a wonderful night. Take care.